it's really important that we begin to change the mindset of young people to know that your vote counts.
They don't understand that the legislative arm of government is actually a co-equal arm of government.
We have an incredible amount of potential.
Whatever it is I was doing, because of my personal DNA, it had to be of an international standard. Which is what, seriously speaking, is all about.
Hello there. Welcome to Seriously Speaking. You know how it is that most interviewers have their idea of the kind of people they like to have on their show. Sometimes I'm dreaming and thinking, who would I like to interview next? While I can interview anybody, even cockroaches if I had to, because the whole idea of Seriously Speaking is to bring interesting guests and issues to you and help you understand it better, to make you better. But ultimately, it's all about national development. So this guest I'm bringing today is somebody I can bet that 99% of Nigerians know, at least by sight. But do they know him and what he does and what drives all that he does? Because in recent times, people would have heard a lot of the things that he's doing. But if you don't go away, you'll get to meet the inspiration behind our Mumu Don't Do as we celebrate our democracy once again, starting tomorrow. Don't go away, we'll be back with my guest on the show. We are back. And my guest, I've written down this description so I don't get it wrong. And it's simple and straightforward, but Mumu, like me, would not be able to do it without reading it. He is the area father, popularly called and known as Charly Boy, the Odudubare Ba One of Africa. That's a spiritual title, by the way. But more importantly, he is the president of all frustrated Nigerians. So I can see all of you hooting and saying, hey, 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 our area father don't land. This time, you're landing without your motorcycle that I used to land onto.
Yes,
zoom,
my
zoom,
chariot.
Zoom. Your chariot. Yeah, what happened to all your motorbikes? Welcome, by the way, to Seriously Speaking.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Yep, my motorbikes. I've slowed down on my riding these days.
Is it age?
Age has a little bit to do with it. As I never get accident rich now. You know, when any boom break now, it will be hard to heal.
It could take a long time to heal.
So, but no, I'm chilling on that front. But I'm doing something in the next few days with bikers. Oh. You know, so I'm still the area father. So once in a while, but I don't ride like I used to anymore.
Now, you have a large family because your kids are all grown up now. You have a son who's almost, I mean, he's 46, your kids are big.
Going to 47?
He's going to be 47.
Yes, in the next few months.
And I'm not sure if a lot of fathers will rightly say, this is the kind of role model I want for my son. Do you ever live feeling like, you know, you're a role model for people?
Well, I'm happy that I've inspired millions of Nigerian youths through my tenacity, my focus, my consistency, my never say die kind of attitude. Because if I could do it, now they understand that they can also do it. I've had great comedians, musicians pass through the Charly Boy University.
I like that.
Yes. And today, I may not have made my money in cash, but, you know, in terms of inspiring young people, in terms of also building and molding people, you know, I'm a billionaire.
You began to think outside the box before the term became thinking outside the box, because you're the son of a judge who goes around cross-dressing. How many people do that?
I don't cross-dress. No, don't get it twisted.
Okay.
I never cross-dressed. But yes, I do have my feminine side. Yeah? Like I asked you just before this interview, I said, who do you want to interview? Mr. Oputa, Charly Boy, Linda, or the Odudubare Ba? But I don't think you like the Odudubare Ba because a lot of things can go wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
If you know, spiritual things, especially if the air, the atmosphere, if there's any, you know, we they call it winch. If there's any winch where they hear, you know, go, and if any of your camera people now winch them be, then
will
go,
show.
it will show. You know, so I don't think that's the person you would like to interview. I think who you should be talking to or with is Mr. Oputa.
And who's Mr. Oputa?
Mr. Oputa...
Because it's a mix-up, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Mr. Oputa, simply put, is that ordinary, regular guy, that father, that husband who is more or less a family kind of guy. Yeah?
Obviously.
Boring, very boring, and an introvert.
Really?
That's who Mr. Oputa is.
So he's shy?
Yes, Mr. Oputa is a shy guy.
So does he hide behind Charly Boy?
Oh, yes, all the time.
So does he create...
Charly Boy don't come into the house. No. We don't let Charly Boy interfere domestically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but Charly Boy would dress the same way as Charles Oputa would and Odudubela would?
No.
They're different. So
No,
this
they're
dressing,
different.
is this Charly Boy or is this...
A little bit of...
Is it mixed? Because you're wearing a tee.
A little bit of mix, you know. I'm here with Charly Boy. I mean, you know, we are stuck together, you know, but I'm representing as Mr. Oputa. And
now,
that is...
in creating Charly Boy,
Yeah.
do you have to create Charly Boy or Charly Boy was just a part of you that you chose?
No, I had to create Charly Boy. And it all came
Why?
as second nature because I wanted something to shock and awe. I wanted something to intimidate ignorant Nigerians. Charly Boy was built to get Mongo-Pakish, last year, conservative Nigeria, you know, to build a new mindset, create a new mindset.
Would you say you've succeeded, though?
I have.
How do you see that?
Because Charly Boy is as constant as a northern star. And in the beginning, a lot of people never wanted to touch the brand with a 10-foot pole. Now everybody is the darling of everybody. Everybody loves Charly Boy. And he's such a charmer. He's the person I would like to be, but I'm not.
Well, you're not. So who...
That's Mr. Oputa.
Okay, so that means with your late father and your mother, you remain Charles Oputa.
Yes, to them, that's all they saw. The rest of well, my father saw a little bit of the Charly Boy thing, and he never liked it in the beginning, you know, because he always said to me, listen, this is never going to work.
You're his first son?
No, I'm not the first son.
Okay.
I'm not even the second son. You know, my father was a great gallivanter in his time, so he made a lot of babies. And I think I walked in
So he was a sharp guy.
Oh, yeah. I walked in his footsteps, but I beat him to it. I have 9 kids. He had 6, and there were just 2 of us left.
So for Daddy, maybe you were living a dream he would have lived if his circumstances were different.
Yeah, because this was like about 30 years ago when we made up, when we finally
After how many years of Charly Boy? You had done about 20...
I've done about 10 years.
As Charly Boy?
Yes, as Charly Boy. And that eureka moment came to him when he now came to Lagos. One time he came to Lagos and I was driving him, I think, to the airport. And those were the heydays of Charly Boy. And then there was this crowd. It was like, who are these people? What do they want? Everybody was screaming, Charly Boy, Charly Boy, Charly Boy. He initially thought that I was just throwing my life away and I was just being too irresponsible. Yeah? He knew that I was intelligent. He always called me a pocket lawyer because he wanted me to do law. But he didn't force me into, I mean, he allowed us to have our free time, do whatever, because that was how we were brought up in the house. Like when I was little and old people would come to the house, we were never asked to go to your room. We were allowed to join in the conversation, even though we didn't understand what the heck they were talking about. We were encouraged to ask questions, okay? My father always talked about fairness, justice, equality. That was all the preaching, and of course...
That's all you got growing up.
You know, I had an overdose of moral values, principles, and, you know, I used to think that the guy was too cantankerous at the time. And of course, because I was always getting into problems, and troubles.
What kind of
I was
trouble?
always being spanked by him. I thought he didn't really love me.
What kind of things were you spanked for example?
I remember the first time this rebellious spirit started. I must confess, I'm a privileged child, a spoiled, rotten son of a gun. Yes. That was before Ajebota turned Ajekpaku.
Serious one.
So this was, I think, about 4 years. It was 5 years, thereabout. I used to have a room full of toys. It was like every day they bought new toys for me. Okay, so that's where I'm coming from. There was a lot of laughter in the house. But my father, being the principal and the teacher that he was in those days, wanted me to befriend his friends' kids, who I found very uppity, nose in the air, too preppy for me. So I used to like, kids, street kids, the kids of the driver, the washerman, and all of that. And then one day, I went to visit one of my playmates. And I noticed that there were like 7 in the room, and they didn't have toys. Since from that day onwards, I never had any toy left in my house because I always give it away. I guess, at the time, just to have playmates who enjoyed my toys and stuff like that. So I think that's where all of that is coming from.
So you've been an area father from age 4.
Yeah, and I didn't understand why my father never liked my choice of friends. Because he would ask me, who is that? Who is his father? Where is he? I said, I don't know. All I wanted was just a playmate. So why do I have to, that's how young people think. So I think it started from way back. And of course, I was fed with an overdose of, integrity, what a good name is all about, coming from a good family, what you're supposed to do and not do, So that never really left me.
I can see that. So I say, even person with the Chris get your own sense.
Chris might get sense now.
No, I'll take a break so I can come back and talk about how Mumu don't do.
Okay.
So I'll be back with the area father, the Odudubela.
Bariba.
Odudubariba. One.
Make you disappear from there.
I'll be right back.